At time of filming, right this second, NAMM is ongoing, the NAMM trade show over in Anaheim in California. And we're seeing, once again, as we do every year, the release of all of these fantastic new tools and the huge audio companies, well, audio companies big and small, releasing these fantastic new toys for us all to get our hands on. It's really easy, though, I think, in the dazzling light of innovation, to forget about some of the old, really cool tools that we used to play with in the 80s and the 90s and even the early 2000s. Nowadays we have DAWs with, infinite tracks, just relying on how powerful your computer is. You've got as many tracks as you can possibly need with all of the effects you could ever want. There's a pedal come up from Polyend just a couple of days ago, I think, that you can literally design your own effects in if you can code it, or you can AI prompt it. Gross, you can make it, which is awesome. That's really cool. It's a great idea. There's loads of innovation happening, but it doesn't take away from the personality and the intimacy of what we used to have in the 80s and 90s. Now, I was very, very small in the 90s, believe it or not, and so yeah, I kind of missed out on a lot of this stuff, so I'm really excited to get into today's new toy. This is a Tascam Portastudio 414. Now, I say new toy, what I mean is 40-year-old toy. This is an 80s one, I believe, maybe early 90s. I'm actually not 100% sure. If I seem kind of fresh and fizzy and excited about this thing, it's because I am. I literally just unpacked it about half an hour ago. It arrived this morning, and I'm really, really excited. I've wanted one of these for ages to get stuck in on. Junkie XL, by the way, you should go and subscribe and watch everything Junkie XL has posted on YouTube. It's Tom Holkenborg, the guy that did like the Mortal Engines and Dark Tower and a whole bunch of other film scores. Has a really killer YouTube channel, and he introduced me, I believe, to the 424, which I assume is like the next one up from this, I guess. But I'm really, really excited to play with this thing. I bought I guess, I don't know if it's a new one or if it's just like an unsealed old Maxwell tape for it. I read the manual. There it is. If you don't know what, I guess there's people out there that don't know what a cassette tape looks like. So this is what a cassette tape looks like. It's a bit like a reel-to-reel in a teeny tiny box. And that goes in there like that. So the 414 has got 4 channels, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 tracks on the tape, effectively. You've also got some stereo inputs up here. It has 2 effects sends, which I didn't know. That's really cool. I'm not going to play with those today. I literally just want to go through the preamps and kind of like the use of the machine, because it's actually really cool. I've played with it for literally 5 minutes to make sure that everything works. So I'm really, really excited to get stuck in. As I say, you can record up to 4 inputs onto 4 different tracks on the tape. You've got an EQ, you've got effects sends for 1 and 2. You can pan stuff left and right. You've got monitoring controls down here, so that obviously when you're recording onto the tape, you can monitor the mic and line. And when you are, mixing on your tape, then you switch these little switches up to tape just there, and you're hearing what's coming from the tape, not what is going in through the inputs. You've got a punch in and out control, DBX noise reduction, some monitoring control stuff. I'm coming line out here. Full disclosure, just in the kind of heat at the moment and getting this thing hooked up, I am running it into my my Universal Audio 4710D preamps down by my knees at the moment. That's literally just for ease of use. They're not running hot or anything, so you're not going to get any colour out of them or anything else. Anyway, with all of that said, I have recorded just a completely spur-of-the-moment ambient texturally thing onto these 4 tracks on this machine. And I thought we would just kind of have a play and have a listen and see what it sounds like. This is my first video back in 2026, so if you're new, hello. If you are been watching for a while, welcome back. It's lovely to have you. Let's get stuck in. I'm super excited. so that's effectively the loop, right? So I think it's an 8 or 16 bar loop, I can't remember right now. But it is because it goes round and round. So what I can do, because this is all on the tape, is I can show you these individual elements using these, and we can move them in and out. We can EQ them individually. We've got a high and low band EQ. I think the preamps in these have actually gotten some attention recently, and I can kind of see why, because they break up in a really nice, interesting way. I think a pedal company recently kind of made a recreation of this, and I think there's actually a plugin that emulates these. I'm kind of loosely considering doing one as well, because that would be quite fun. But anyway, yeah, I can talk you through the individual tracks here and what I've done. So I think track 1 is that kind of whooshing. So yeah, there you go, there's that. That's just the serum patch, I think. And then track 2. Track 2 is the gut circle motors from Albion Solstice, which is like my favourite contact library of all time. Track 3, I think, is piano. Getting nice and crunchy there with the piano when I push it up, which is super, super cool. And then track 4 is another Albion Solstice, one of them, I think Spitfire call them motors. I think it's called Sound Bath, and it's one of the kind of like vocal choir texture things. It's really, really cool. I use it all the time. You get the idea, and when you combine all of those elements, you get So let's say I just wanted to have a play with the EQ for a second to show you what that sounds like, because the EQ actually does sound really good. So I've got my sound bath, we'll call it, my vocal track here. There are actually some really well-placed high and low EQ positions there. It sounds really, really good. I mean, admittedly, you know, like pushing the high, you're on a cassette tape, right? So when you push the high really hard, you do bring out some of that noise. But maybe that's what you want. I mean, when you're playing with something like this in 2026, you're kind of after some of those idiosyncrasies that you're not going to get out of your DAW or anything else. Talking of which, if I wanted to, for example, you know, it works as a great control surface, right? So say I'm playing this back, and if you wanted to manipulate all 4 of these tracks, you're either going to need a control surface or you're going to need to do a lot of automation, right? Whereas with something like this, right, my point is, you can manipulate all of this stuff in real time, and you can record directly out into your DAW, which means this is a really cool way of getting out of the box with some fairly pedestrian sounds and making them move, you know, giving them some motion, giving them some interest. Maybe you want to, you know, whack some distortion on it and push things really hard. One of the kind of main reasons that I bought this was because I watched a bunch of videos on it, and I watched Aura's video on it. I love that guy. I love his content. It's so, so cool. And he was running his out through pedals. So, I mean, obviously I do this all the time on the channel. but I have actually got, if I just push this to one side, ta-da! I have actually got a Chase Bliss CXM 1978 reverb pedal just here, bypassed at the moment, we haven't heard it yet, but being able to adjust all of this stuff and give it some motion and then add a really beautiful reverb, either in hardware or in software. Obviously you could just bung a stereo reverb plugin on there, but I thought we'd get fancy with it. You know, first video back this year. Let's press play. And obviously we preserve all of our lovely tails there as well with the outboard reverb. Super, super cool. I do want to show you something else though. Okay, so what I've done now is I have flipped the tape. I've literally taken it out. It was on side A, now it's on side B. Now way back when, that used to be so that you could have kind of double the tape length, right? You would have half of an audiobook or something on side A and the other half on side B. However, we have recorded to all 4 tracks on this tape, so we've recorded to the whole lot. When we flip it over, we get everything kind of flipped, right? So my track 1 is now track 4. All of the tracks have been flipped upside down, and it plays in reverse, which enables you to get these super cool, textural, interesting things, a kind of a very tactile, feedbacky, pleasing, satisfying to use way. So let's have a look for that. I have switched off the reverb just temporarily. So it's immediately about 10 times more interesting. There's just something, I know, alright, there's going to be a whole bunch of people staring at the screen going, but you can just do this in a DAW, and yeah, I know you can. I know you can just, you know, click a region, click reverse, and off it goes. But there's something so much cooler, it's much more interesting about getting out of the box and doing it with your hands. You know, it's just really, really cool. Not to mention, as we already said, the fact that we can add reverb to it. But before we add reverb and get properly spacey and interesting, I do want to point out something else that's really cool about doing this stuff in the physical realm, right? And that is up here, the pitch control on the 414. So what I'm actually doing manually when I manipulate the pitch control, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, hopefully you will, is I'm actually changing the speed at which the tape plays back. Right, so as I slow the tape down, I'm bringing the pitch down, and as I speed the tape up, it brings the pitch up. So if I just play my reversed, So hopefully you can kind of see the tape speed going backwards and forwards there. Things get properly horror movie when you've got something like that kind of moving choral pad and you start manipulating the pitch. It's really, really cool. And again, I know that you can do this in a DAW, and I know you can automate all of this stuff until the cows come home. I know you can do that, but there's something really cool about just having the real tape and the real physical interface to do it. I know you can get a control surface for it, but that's not the point. It's about how using something like this makes you feel. And it's inspiring, it's cool, it's fun to use. And talking of inspiring, cool and fun to use, I think it's time for this EXM on our reversed stuff. So let's hear a bit of that. Super, super, super cool. I love it. I really, really enjoy using it. This was a really quick, really kind of preliminary look, because as I said, this turned up this morning and I'm all fizzy and excited and I wanted to talk about it and I wanted to share it with you. But I will do some more videos on this. I'm really, really excited. A lot of the videos that I see on this are these like little kind of 6-second cassette tapes, or 10-second or 20-second whatever cassette tapes that just seem to just loop endlessly. I'm excited to kind of try that. I don't fully understand what the point of that is, but that's on me. I'm going to kind of get stuck in. I'm going to buy a couple or maybe make a couple. I think you can make them, and just get stuck in and see what happens. I'm super, super excited. I'm really, really feeling at the moment getting out of the box and just being tactile and hands-on with stuff, getting inspired by old gear, and just it's just awesome. It's just really, really good fun. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking until the end. Nevermore has a forum, so if you want to get chatty and nerdy about the 414, or indeed anything else musical or audio related under the sun, go over there and get chatty. We would love to have you. Please like, subscribe, share, go over on the website and check things out. I will be releasing the Nevermore plugins this year. I'm super, super excited about that. Yeah, can't wait. I think 2026 is going to be good. This is going to be fun. Subscribe, come along for the ride. It's going to be awesome. Like, sub, share, all of the YouTubey crap, and I will see you next time.